Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
Hello, Outriders, and welcome to episode 148 of the Legion Outriders podcast. I am your host, Outrider Matt, and with me today is the main man, Outrider Dan.
The main man.
The main man, and special guest star, LJ Jalapeno Popper Pena. How you doing, bud?
Ooh, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one in a bit.
You know, it just came to me.
Add that to your litany of titles.
We've got so many.
Will.
Yeah.
No, I'm great. Obviously, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's go time, baby.
News, events, all this and more coming your way. But before we get started, we'd like to take a second to thank our patrons that make recording and publishing this show possible. And today's Outrider Facts is about the amazing Andrew Voth, a.k.a. Wandering Wizard. Did you know Andrew once circumnavigated the entirety of Western Canada looking for his car that he parked at a Tesco? Did you know that?
It turned out it was at a Buc-ee's.
Oh, okay. Also, he has the uncanny ability to roll statistically average dice every time.
Wow.
No variance.
That is a superpower right
It
there.
is. But thank you, Andrew, and we hope you use your powers for only good. If you would like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Legion Outriders. On today's show, all the news. Monday's happening.
Monday is a thing.
We're recording on Saturday. We're probably publishing this tonight, but Monday is a thing. Stay tuned for more on that.
We're gearing up for Monday, that's for sure. We as in, the background crew is getting ready to man our battle stations and be there for all the fun.
Wait, if you're the background crew, who's the foreground crew?
Well,
God, is that us?
I think.
God, I hope not.
Yes, congratulations. You are the ones. On Monday, you get to release the CRB and the OP document.
Yes. You're welcome.
Dan, which one do you want? Do you want OP doc or rulebook? Matt, do you want OP doc or rulebook? Here you go.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a few of those documents anyway. But before we get too far into the future, a little bit about the past. Our last episode, which was, if anyone's wondering why it's been a little while.
Oh, of course, yes.
Because we did a crossover with Legion 99. So if you didn't catch that on any of our socials and are wondering what happened to the second half of the articles and what happened,
why are we missing an episode? Why has it been so long since the last one for the Outriders?
Yeah, definitely head over to Legion 99, and we had a nice chat with Keegan and Nick, and we look forward to hopefully
absolutely super classy dudes.
Yes,
so much fun. I really, really, really want to do that again. Mike should be gone more often so we can go on there.
We need to do.
Got him.
No.
Oh no, I love Mike.
Yeah.
Big hearts.
Yeah, I played him last LVO. But anyway, Star Wars news real quick out of the way.
Let's do some Star Wars news.
There's not a lot, which is good. Good for the amount of stuff we have to do. But yeah, Bad Batch, first 3 episodes around. Episode 3 was amazing. And I mean, even the first 2
I haven't
episodes.
seen it yet. I saw the first 2. I haven't seen the.
Yeah, but it set the tone really nice.
That's good.
I think so. And speaking of Monday, one of the biggest things to come out Monday, Mando Season 3 trailer is going to be out on Monday during the NFL playoff game.
You got to tune into the Nuffle.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll hit YouTube like moments later.
Yeah, immediately, for sure.
But of course, Matt's already seen that one since he was at Celebration.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw what?
This Mando Season 3 trailer.
I thought that had already come out already.
Well, they had a little teaser preview. This is supposedly the full trailer.
Well, damn it! What did I pay all that money for?
No, you got to see it before the CGI was finished.
Oh,
that's why there was that guy running around with like a head on a pole, simulating like a Rancor.
Yeah,
that's why.
One of those green like skin suits, and
I was assured that was exactly how it was supposed to be.
I was super waiting for that character to come to Legion.
Yeah.
Now I'm disappointed.
Head on a pole guy.
Well, I mean, they already had the hallway guy,
Yeah.
The guy who's, half blocked by the door in Mando Season 2.
It's right up there with the Starbucks cup from
Yeah,
Game
I
of
was
Thrones.
just
Starbucks,
thinking that, yeah.
But hey, I mean, we got some information about new models.
Yay!
Really?
Yes.
Are
who
we
would
still
that
on
be,
Star
Dan?
Wars news?
The
or
Star
are we
Wars
on
news
to,
now. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I'm
okay.
getting ahead of myself here.
Ah,
So yeah, Monday stuff. Lots of Monday stuff.
yeah. We will have a second 0.5 episode coming out on Monday's stuff.
Yes.
There's your sneak preview or teaser. This is yes. So there will be basically 2 podcast episodes for you this week.
Yes.
This one's gonna be a little bit longer. The other one's gonna be a little bit shorter, but they're both gonna be fantastic.
Well,
So make sure to get 'em
whatever
both.
would you be doing on Monday?
I don't. I know what you're gonna be doing on Monday.
You sound so excited.
Yeah. You do, don't you? Your thing is significantly more exciting than my thing. You're right. We'll leave that surprise for Monday.
Okay. But yeah, what you'll be doing Monday?
So yes, I will be manning some battle stations on Monday, as I was joking about earlier. It's no surprise if you are new. Potentially, if you don't know, I am one of the 2 individuals. There's 2 of us now. 2 of us. It used to be just
This
me.
is getting out of hand.
Now there are 2 of us that moderate the Star Wars Legion section of the AMG Rules Forum. And one of the things I've been putting it out there for a couple of days now, mainly in the Discord sphere, but that I want to throw out now is that the developers, they know that Monday is a big day. Duh. They've been working on this rulebook and looking at it longer than anybody else, and so we're all going to be on station, ready to answer your burning questions, confirm things, and of course catch any little misses or errors if they do arise, as everybody gets their eyeballs on the rulebook on Monday, and the OP document as well. Can't forget about that. And so the thing that I'm asking the community is that I know the urge to blow up my phone on Discord and Facebook, and somebody messaged my personal Twitter account the other day. I don't even use that. I know that urge is probably high because you're like, hey, this thing looks like an error. I want to make sure it's not. Like, I get it. That's awesome. That's the kind of stuff that, makes my fact-finding job a little bit easier. But I ask specifically the community to post those kind of questions and things to the rules forum. I know, hey, I found something that looks like it could be a grammatical error. I know that doesn't necessarily seem like something that would normally go on the rules forum, but in this case, it would just be easier to compartmentalize all of the potential things into one spot, and that is going to be the best spot to do it. I'm highly, highly confident that most of Monday is just going to be, yep, that's how it works. Yep, that's how it works, over and over again, because the rulebook is great and the OP doc is great. I'm very excited for both of those to finally hit the public sphere. But just for organizational purposes, it'll be much, much, much easier for us to tackle and discern any legitimate problems that come up if it's all put in one spot, and in lieu of some sort of Google form or other thing that I would tend to normally gravitate to. The rules forum is going to be the absolute best place to see that, because not only will I be monitoring that, but you can bet your developers are going to be monitoring that as well.
Okay, you heard it here, guys. No sending LJ any unsolicited rules picks. The other ones are fine, but
yeah.
I'm sure I will be tagged relentlessly throughout the day on Monday, but
they're probably listening. It's far too late to do it any good. So
yeah, that ship had sailed a long time ago. You're not wrong. And if you are a member of like the Legion Discord or other places where AMG socializes, also please do not tag them directly in your queries. Please direct all traffic to the rules forum, because that way it can be addressed, documented, fixed, all that good stuff.
What you should do is, just for the next week or so, just suspend your main account on Discord and create like an alternate one so you can keep, tabs on things. Just like have a picture of your face with like big old handlebar mustache on it or something.
Oh no, yeah, the little
Yeah, I
spy
don't know
glasses
if
with the big nose, fake
Yeah,
nose.
there you go.
there you go. I don't know if people noticed, but I actually did change my profile picture on the Legion Discord to the same one that I have been using on the forum since that account started. Just so it was very obvious, like, yep, this person is this person.
Continuity.
Use that continuity to help guide your whinging.
Is it worth also recommending that before, if you notice something and go to the rules forum, try and look around there first, see if someone's already spotted something, the same thing,
Indeed.
just
So
so we're not replicating a
I
bunch
will say that there will be a little bit of difficulty there, only because, like, so the way the rules forum works is, like, when somebody makes a post, the post is automatically hidden and it can only be seen by moderators until it is approved. For certain things, there are a good number of posts that never actually see the light of day, because it's like, okay, I've already answered this thing 5 times. If you would just search offensive push in the search bar, you would get the answer to your query right away and you would move on with your life. So, like, you might not actually see it. I think, honestly, a little bit of double reporting on Monday is not going to be a bad thing, because I'd rather get double reported than missed it. But Dan is also very correct that it is probably worth just doing a quick search before you make your post, because
take a second.
that'll make everything easier. And if you're not super familiar with the rules forum, if you click on the search bar, you can change to, it's right under the search bar. There's a little button that says search by tags. And if you type in a tag related to the question you are asking, like, let's say you wanted to ask a question about force push, I tag all of the posts with that relevant tag. So if you just type in force in the search bar, you're going to get like 2,000 posts, because you'll get every Legion post, every X-Wing post, every MCP post, and every Armada post that has the word force in it. But if you instead go to search by tags and type in force push and then hit search, you will only get things that I have tagged with force push. And you'll get like 5 posts instead of 2,000.
That's a lot
And
better.
so that's something that I recommend people think about when they use the forum all the time. That's something that can help make your rules forum searching just in the middle of a game, at a tournament, whatever, much quicker. Some people have difficulty using the rules forum. That's probably why. If you search by tags, you'll find your answer right away. If you just try to generically search, I I always remember there was something that happened where one of the developers was trying to find out a question related to something that happened when you tied in another game. So they put tie into the search bar. On a forum that includes Star Wars X-Wing, that complicated their search a little bit. And so it has the functionality to make your life a little bit easier. And so, if there is something that is relevant to your question, I will try to tag it with that. There's no tag identified for CRB problems or OP document problems. The problems are just going to be tagged, or questions in this case are just going to be tagged based off of the subject matter that the person is asking about. The other thing that is going to make your Monday much easier is that you will not be looking at the exact same forum that you were previously.
What?
The Legion section specifically of the rules forum is getting archived on Monday. And it's getting archived, not deleted. That
Right.
way we can still bring stuff out of retirement that might bear repeating. However, you will not have to dig through the 2.5 thousand posts that are on there right now.
Makes sense. It's new document, new rulings are needed. So, and you've incorporated a bunch of the old stuff, right?
Yeah. So when I was looking at, like, well, do I want to just go on a bender for a week and try to fix everything? I was like, that's dumb. Let's just nuke it from orbit and start over again. And then somebody gently suggested that maybe archiving it was better, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, duh, that's what I meant the whole time. So there will be stuff that will probably be brought back out, but also I won't have to fix like 500 posts because, you know, line of sight changed or whatever. So yeah, there is some behind the scenes stuff that's going to happen on Monday that will hopefully alleviate players that were maybe a little overwhelmed when they saw how much was on the rules forum. And also, I think also will be better for us as players, because I know some people are still, you know, to this day, of course, they're still not aware that maybe something changed because of like the RRG correction thread, or maybe there's a ruling that clarified something that was confusing and they've been playing it as one way when they should have been playing it another. Guess what? On Monday, read the rulebook. If the rulebook says yes, do the thing. If the rulebook says no, don't do the thing. And I think it'll make everybody's experience a lot cleaner, to be perfectly honest. Still ask your question if you're confused. That's what we're there for. But one of the biggest things that I want to stress on Monday is that the rules forum is a supporting document to the CRB. The CRB was updated with the rules forum in mind. So use that as your primary tool.
Cool. Nice. And if you're really, really not familiar with the rules forum, there is a rules forum.
Yeah, if you're totally new, you should definitely check out
What are these guys talking
Atomic
about?
Mass Games. It's forums.atomicmassgames.com. They have a rules forum that's dedicated to each one of their games, MCP, Legion, Armada, and X-Wing. And you can ask questions there.
Yes,
and
but first
they
look.
are considered.
Yes.
Yes, but first look, they are
Look with your
considered to be
special eyes.
official rulings for the games in question, and they are legal for tournaments and all that stuff. So if you're a player, a TO, a judge, or somebody that's just getting into the game and is not quite sure how a keyword works, hey, ask us. That's what we're there for.
In addition to the direct URL, the rules forum is linked on the main Atomic Mass Games webpage, not on any of the subpages for their games, but on the main page. Just scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a link for that. And I literally just tried it. I just Googled AMG Legion Rules Forum, and it was the first link in Google. So,
oh, good.
Not hard to find.
SEO optimized.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Yes.
All right.
That is the biggest tip for Monday. You got a question, don't go... I mean, try not to go around the socials. And I'm sure all the socials will link the rules forum as well. I'm sure there'll be links on Facebook, the Discord. We'll put one up on our on our socials as well. So,
right next to LJ's direct line.
Yes. You're okay with us handing out your personal contact information, right? No, I'm kidding.
Let's see. Cell phone number, social security,
we're now doxing
home
him.
address, whichever.
Oh no,
it's
Elon's
fine.
going to ban us.
Ooh.
Okay, so what else we got?
We should talk about new information about new awesome models coming out.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the rules yet to be confused by them. Or at least me.
Yay!
But yeah, biggest thing coming out, Asajj Ventress was leaked on the... Well, we talked about this earlier. Not necessarily leaked, but... the box and SKU was listed on the...
Has been teased
on Asmodee's French web store. So,
Vive la France!
So, of course, I mean, they're based out of France, so that makes sense that it would hit there first. So, yeah, if you want to see some awesome box art and read a description in French, though I did find a translated description of the back of the box from Reddit user Orkstew. So thank you for your wonderful French to English.
Is orc stew kind of more of a puree, or would it be chunky? Sorry, that nickname
chunks.
threw me off when I saw. Yeah, that's what I imagine. It'd be very hearty.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
can you read the description for us in a French accent, please?
I would.
Oh.
Yeah, I would prefer not to, because I do not want to offend an entire nation.
Let's not get canceled.
Or an
right
entire
now.
culture. But yeah, the only unusual thing listed in that description is there are 4 command cards. But this was previously listed in Mini Stravaganza that she'll have 3 quote-unquote regular command cards and then 1 team-up card, a la like Chewbacca does.
Somebody pointed out
damn.
that the box contents included an assembly guide. which I know has not been the case in all recent releases.
Really?
I mean, does that count, or is the
Oh.
QR code technically count as the
That's what
assembly
I'm
guide?
wondering. I'm wondering if we're gonna see assembly instructions in the box, or the assembly guide is the piece of paper we've gotten used to recently. So
Or maybe
it is yet to be seen.
well,
But I thought that was
they'll probably say
interesting.
those lazy Americans can go online, and all the European ones get the get the
That's
assembly
fine.
guide.
Yeah. I wonder how many Asajjas we're going to see modeled with hair.
What?
0 should be the correct
Yes.
answer. Okay.
Unless you're green stuff.
Actually, I saved Cad Bane's hat for this occasion.
It's for the bounty hunting arc in her
I
story.
chose the wrong time to take a drink.
Oh, it's the weird thing is my Asajj Ventress is probably going to end up looking
Got
like
him.
Jean-Luc Picard, I think. So it's just I'm not going to be able to paint that right.
You're gonna get the side,
A little
the
side
white
fringe. You know, back when I was at the academy.
Oh, but the other models we learned about with 2 awesome articles. Thank you, LJ, for those awesome articles, by the way. Was Moff Gideon and the Darktroopers. Oh man, this makes my Imperial heart sing. Though there are a few other Imperial models that are very sad right now, considering what these cards have.
What song does your Imperial Heart sing? I want to know what that sounds like.
In Solo, the Imperial March, but with the higher at the higher key.
Oh, the
Yes.
Mana.
Oh.
Mana.
Just because that was our mic check this morning. Oh God, did you record that?
I guess you'll have to listen to the very end of the
Okay.
episode to find out.
Oh, but Moff Gideon. Oh, this is a spicy Juan Carlo Esposito right here.
Yes. It's funny. I'm watching Kaleidoscope right now, and he's the best part of that show.
I mean, he's the best part of almost every show.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a gem.
Yeah.
He was a person that I wish I did a signature panel with at Celebration, because I swear that guy spent 10 minutes talking to every person that came up to him. I mean, you could tell he was so enthusiastic and excited and
That's awesome.
genuine and real. Like if there's ever an opportunity to do something where I get to meet this guy, like that's when I was writing these, I was thinking about that moment, because it was just so cool to like see a celebrity person like that, an actor that just seemed to be so like down to earth and genuine and whatnot. Was really cool.
That's nice. Yeah. I think it's probably, I don't know. He's been around a while, obviously, and I think he's finally just getting the recognition he deserves. He's been in some high profile stuff and definitely come in guns blazing into nerd fandom. But luckily, we've got a very good card to represent him on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to break it all down?
Yeah, so-
Let's go ahead and start out. So, Moff Gideon, long live the Empire.
I think one of the best subtitles, at least.
I'm not buying it from him. Yeah. LJ is doing a little celebratory dance back there, pumping his fist in the air, Jersey Shore style.
Yeah, super hyped to see that in print, because it looks good and it fits his aesthetic so much. It's like,
yes.
yeah, that's a Moff Gideon right there. Long live the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his card is great. It's been talked about a little bit already since his preview article, but Observe is a great choice for a mid-range commander that likes to hang back.
Mm-hmm.
At least till you start stabbing stuff.
Yes, and a free action
Entourage,
Observe.
Imperial Dark Troopers. Yeah, free action Observe, very important, very cool.
Yeah.
Good
Entourage,
catch, yeah.
Dark Troopers, great. Ruthless. I will let you guys dive into that keyword if you want to.
yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
And
Ruthless.
sharpshooter and tactical, awesome
All
offensive keywords. But yeah, Ruthless seems like the main event, Dan, if you wanted to chat about that one real
Yeah,
quick.
so yeah, when another friendly core trooper at range 2 and in line of sight and has a face-up order token activates, it may suffer 1 wound and to perform 1 free action. So kind of a slightly tweaked new ways to motivate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure this will be one of the first posts you'll be answering on Monday. Is it just range 2? But yeah.
Oh,
So we got another
no, I
donut.
will refer you to my earlier statement. Read the rule book.
Read the book, yes, because this will be in the keyword rulings on there, I'm sure.
Yeah, no,
Or the keyword
and
listings.
actually for I'll bring this up now too, because we talked about some of the intricacies of the rules form just now too. People have already asked plenty of questions about Moff Gideon and Darktroopers, and this goes the same for any like new unit. Basically, we like to wait until closer to the units actually released to start answering those questions. So catch me after LVO, and
Okay.
we'll probably start
Catch me
answering
outside.
more of
Yeah.
those. Because I know like people well, I'm sure you'll touch on it in a minute, but people have questions about the Dark Trooper personnel. The outrange thing came up. Hey, this unit isn't even out till February, so it's not a me problem as far as I'm concerned right now.
So-
But
yeah.
like I said, man, on Monday, read the rules.
There you go.
That'll give you your answer.
One of my favorite things, though, about the Ruthless rule with him is, I think it was, on the Legion 99, I was saying I was hoping there was going to be some way they could represent him mowing down his own troopers with an E-web or something. I think that's close enough. That counts, right?
I mean, this
they're
and,
taking a
and
wound.
the whole,
yeah.
There was that. It was a small line, but when the scout troopers were waiting there with Grogu and they're reporting in, and the person on the comm mentioned, "Oh, he just shot an officer for interrupting his monologue."
There you go. They're just motivating people. Yeah.
But one fun trick that's kind of surfaced with this is, of course, putting a medic in the squad that's being ruthlessly motivated here. So pinging them, taking the damage, using the free action to revive the guy that dies with Ruthless, and then doing 3 actions.
That seems all right. Yeah.
So I think medic stock is going up on this.
Yeah. Stonks.
Stonks.
Okay. So
man.
also, he's got 5 health, 3
courage.
Yeah. With the red save dice, surges for crits and blocks.
Yeah, search for block with a red
So
save
he's got
dice.
that 3-up save
He's got
there.
that. He's got that Death Trooper armor on, basically.
It's beautiful.
And 2 command slots, 1 training slot, 1 equipment, and an armament. His built-in weapons, if you're going to be, not using the armament, which we'll get to in a second, 2 red dice in melee, and then red, black, range 1 to 2, pierce 1 for his custom blaster pistol. All in a neat bargain of 100 points.
100. Veers looks on with envy
I
from
know,
the sidelines.
Callus is in the corner weeping.
Ooh, poor Callus. He doesn't even have mutton chops.
I do still like Callus's cutting. I was noticing that because I've been playing Darksaber Maul so much that I did get a game with Moff Gideon in, and was like, oh yes, I have the Darksaber. Oh wait,
Of course. You've
dang
got the
it.
village
No,
bicycle.
you still win priority. Dang it. Yeah, this guy starts at like 125 points for me. Like I don't think he's gonna come anywhere close to 100 on the regular, because like those command slots, I mean, we get into it more, but so useful. Aggressive tactics has made a comeback for me
Good.
after playing a couple games with Moff and Dark Troopers, and I've been throwing the electro binos on him too.
Really?
Just so in some of those early turns where he doesn't have as much to do, he can use observe and hand out aim to really kind of like get the rest of your offense going.
Ooh, spicy.
And of course, the Dark Saber at 15 points is not free. So I've noticed that, like, honestly, he's been coming in, I'd say at around that 120, 125 range fairly frequently for the list I've been nugging out recently.
Nice.
Like
So, yeah,
it.
speaking
So,
of the Dark
still a
Saber,
good package, but
so
yeah, the Dark Saber, very
Yeah.
solid. 5 black dice, demoralize 1, and when defending against a melee attack, you gain immune pierce. Impact 1, pierce 1. So he's not as skillful as, say, Darth Maul with the Dark Saber, but no less lethal. And somebody I know has been floating around a little bit, but people have mentioned that that demoralize 1 is particularly spicy when you play against force user players that like to run into you and then take a standby, because you can use Demoralize 1 to give them a suppression token and remove that standby.
Ooh, there you go.
And that's a big force user tool that you take out of their toolbox with that. That's really big. So big fan of that Darksaber.
Yeah, and this puts I like to call this Gideon on one of the two councils. One is the Council of Darksaber users. And the other one is the Council of Gideons, since Gideon Hask and Gideon Argus are already in the game. I need to do that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other.
Oh, yeah. All the different Gideons.
Oh, man.
Is Gideon Argus a double agent? Ooh. Our poor rebel officer.
Oh.
It ain't so. All right. Have we looked at the command cards, really?
I mean, we've seen the 2 pip, and that was way back at Mini Extravaganza.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But the 1 and 3...
Okay, so let's take a look at the 3 pip. Moment of consideration, and 3 core units or heavy units. Units issued orders by this card gain fire support this round. Oh. Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah. Take that, Republic.
Yeah, no, I mean, so many people have been theory crafting what you can do with Moment of Consideration. I really like the coordinated fire followed by Moment of Consideration, or flip-flopped, turns back to back.
Yeah.
It's just really, really solid gunline play, and there's a lot of little things that you can do with it. People have been theory crafting with their Gav tanks, their ATSTs, even with the Darktroopers themselves. Yeah,
I've heard Gav tank with either Moff Gideon or Darktroopers in the back of it.
Yeah,
just mixing them that
yeah.
way. All sorts of wacky racist shenanigans here.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my God, are we gonna get Gideon with a Darksaber in the back of a Gav tank? Are we playing 40K now? Drive closer. I'm gonna hit him with my Darksaber.
We're getting pretty close, yeah, that's for sure. Not quite as fun as the Pope Mobile, but still spicy.
The Palp Mobile, yes.
I like it. I like where it's going. Fire supporting something that has, surge to hit or surge to crit, always a good thing. Gideon could even turn on some of his own fire supports, which are kind of fun considering he's got Sharp and Pierce 1. And tactical crit. And all that, and surge crit. So I've even considered giving so the Darktroopers get their free face up order token from his abilities, and then you give out your orders with this card, and you're now turning on fire supports that are super spicy with Pierce 1 and surge crit and all that, and then the Darktroopers get to go again because they have unstoppable. So they just It adds almost another dimension to the game in a way when you combine it with Darktroopers that we just quite haven't seen before. Because let me tell you, they take some getting used to when you play those boys. They are fun, but they are different. Yeah. It really underscores a bit of an evolution in Legion design philosophy to me when I played them on the table, because it was in my own little internal play test I got to do this week with what we've been previewed. I was like, this feels different. This is cool. And I need to think about what I'm doing, because it's not the same, cant and whatnot that I'm used to, the same order I do things with the normal unit. So the other thing I appreciate when I look at all these 3 cards together here on the sheet is that I like that, AMG's been doing 2 simple cards and 1 block of text card pretty regularly. With some of the recent releases. Moment of Consideration is you get fire support, cool. Die at my hand is you get to stab people, good, awesome. And then you have something I want is okay, that's a little bit complicated and there's more going on with that card. But I think it's cool that that's kind of where all these character-centric units that we've been getting recently have been going, and it makes me excited to see more regular units too. I know we've seen a lot of characters from AMG so far, but there's more units coming in the pipe, as we know, with Ewoks and stuff like that. So it'll be kind of cool to see how that development shifts as they take a greater hold over the game and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And a small little bit of clarification, just so if anyone wasn't aware, the Moment of Consideration is orders issued by this card, so the Entourage order does not give fire support in this instance. Just so everyone's
Yeah,
clear
you
on
would
that.
have to order them
That's a good point.
directly. To be clear.
Okay.
So
Which
tracking
is
that
cool.
might be a little interesting when you've got Entourage and extra orders bouncing around, but
Cool. Okay, let's take a look at the 1-pip now.
yeah, speaking of drive me closer, I want to hit them with my sword.
Yeah. D at my hand. Is that German? Die at my hand. So this is for Moff Gideon alone. He does not share this. Moff Gideon, relentless. Gains relentless, 1 aim token, and 1 dodge token this round. Pretty standard,
Yeah,
you know.
and then on top of the tactical he's
Yeah.
already getting for moving. So
If he moves.
Yeah.
yeah,
He may already be there.
Yeah, well,
True.
this is a pretty good engage card for him, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he's gonna do with that pile of aims unless you just roll that poorly. It's a lot of aims that he's gonna be gaining.
True.
For that,
I mean,
yeah.
a lot of
that
black
attack.
dice on the dark saber, so you know.
Yeah,
that
I
could
mean
help him out.
anybody who's ever rolled a Luke Skywalker dice pool knows that you can't trust those. So
Exactly. You have failed
I get
me for
it.
the last time.
they wanted to be very sure that you died at his hand. I get it.
And then the 2-pip, you have something I want. Like I said earlier, this was already spoiled, so most people know it. But for the few that don't, to summarize, you give an order. If you give an order to a Dark Trooper, it can basically rapid reinforce
That's neat.
on its activation.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it's another instance of just kind of, changing the dynamic and opening up the battlefield a little bit more because, deep strike type mechanics is not something we've really had very much in Legion outside of like rapid reinforcements. So I think it's super neat, and those Dark Troopers are going to be running away or ambushing your objectives, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are more expecting this to be an offensive move where you're moving in to get closer. But really, if you've already got the objective, just getting them the heck out of dodge is just as powerful. If they've already got the box or the hostage or something, they can just get the heck out of there.
You're already putting him in the item box, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, I some of my early list building theory crafting with this is him and Iden together because they're both Courage 3 commanders. And with all the changes in suppression that we have seen and panic that we have seen with the article so far, that's going to be pretty solid, I think.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Unless you're just bringing a ton of Dark Troopers.
Yeah, we'll get that in a bit with the Dark Troopers.
We
But
care not.
they expensive.
They are, but the best 500 points you'll ever spend on a single unit.
Actually, if you fully load them, it gets up to like the 220s.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
oh, wow.
it's,
Okay. That was
It's pretty hefty.
It's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
So we've seen this Dark Trooper card before.
Yeah.
So it's not that wasn't the new information, right? The big information was all these beautiful upgrade cards.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Dark Troopers. They're 3 of them. They come in at 95 armor, full armor, which is great. 2 health, red defense dice, unconcerned, so you can't fix them, you can't restore them, and you never get cover from them. They never get cover, which is kind of cool, and another harrowing experience from my game the other day. And unstoppable, the ability to double activate a turn.
yeah.
Super cool. I mean, we've seen mechanics like it with like Implacable and whatnot, but it really, like, again, if you're not used to it, it really feels very different when you play them on the table. There was, I felt like a compulsion to spend all the aims I handed to them on my coordinated fire turn. And it was like, oh, wait, why did I spend that last roll hunting for a crit when I could have just saved it for his second activation? It was it really is like it's different math almost when you play them. And the other thing I noticed too, because of the way this unit works and the upgrades I'm sure we're about to talk about are backloaded, the unit's damage is massively backloaded, especially if you're a assault cannon enjoyer like myself. It's like, cool, you just took 2 units to take out 1 Dark Trooper, and I'm still throwing 6 black dice. Sweet.
Nice.
You'd be surprised how long they stay effective. which is not something that, unless you're like a E5C B1 enjoyer like myself, you really don't see a lot of units that have their primary damage backloaded. It's like you really factor in the main dice of a unit into more attack pools than you think. And with Darktroopers, it's like, oh, no, I still have a good source of damage here between my heavy weapons. Because they're smaller unit size, and the fact that you still have to kill unit leaders last, you only have to kill 2 miniatures to start getting to those juicy heavy weapons, which anybody that plays heavy response units is kind of familiar with that struggle.
Yeah, yep.
But,
I've been having fun with that,
you know.
practicing Blizzard Force for LVOs.
Yep. But hey, the heavies that you can take, pretty great. Pretty great.
Oh yeah. So speaking of XS,
I see what you did there.
Oh,
Bad man.
the XS4 assault cannon, range 1 to 3, 4 black dice. Add 1 mini to the group. Critical 1, a hell of a price at 48 points. I mean, that's a
lot.
That's a
I
lot.
mean, but that's a pretty beefy gun right
Yeah,
there.
that's,
And I see why aggressive tactics is making a comeback too.
Oh, yeah.
With these
Yeah.
guys not having any natural surges, but getting critical one's nice. Yeah.
yeah, critical 1 helps with that a
That-
little bit.
Crit 1, super helpful again, especially when it's like the leader and this guy just left. Crit 1, great, because it helps push that extra bit of damage through, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Then we have the SM9 frag launcher, red, black. This is a tap, but it's range 1 to 2. Add the trooper to the unit, blast, impact 2, cycle. Okay, it's got cycle at least, and 40 points.
So Magna Guards don't have to tap, but these guys, no. Magna Guards already got their adjustment. Everything's fine.
But you're
This is
still
fine.
shooting it once a turn because I'm assuming the cycle during their second activation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
it,
See,
so-
and that's the thing. I don't mind saying, what's it called? The tap on this, because with cycle, it's like you still get to fire it every turn without even having to do anything. I mean, it's so nifty that it works with their inherent design of the double activation that you still basically get the intended use out of it every turn. Oh, I get to shoot this awesome rocket launcher. And I actually think that, like, once Dark Troopers are in position and they're in that, like, in this case, range 2 bubble, but I was noticing
Yeah,
with the
range
assault
2 for a
cannon, when I
rocket
was in the
launcher.
range.
Yeah.
Well, it's modeled
Yeah,
like the
it's a cannon.
AH-12.
It's a cannon.
Oh, cannon.
Frag launcher.
Yes,
Frag, yeah.
it's like you ripped the iron off the side of a boat and you're lugging it around. Okay. like a ship you're walking
okay.
around with a cannon.
Yeah.
I noticed with the assault cannon, there was a lot of time where it was like, okay, I'm already in range 3. I guess I aim, or maybe I make myself more annoying because they have impact weapons and I dodge. I think if you really want to double tap with the frag launcher, I think you might find yourself finding the action economy to do that, especially because their dice pool with that frag launcher is really, really solid. And you already have blast, so it's not like you have to burn through cover. You might actually end up, once you're in range 2, recovering to double tap with this weapon. I think that is very possible. Because sometimes I just was like, what do I do with this other action I have? I'm already in range. I don't need to move or anything. So I guess I'll aim. Cool. Or I guess I'll take a free dodge. I think there'll be situations where you're going for maximum damage, and adding 2 reds and a black to your die pool is more valuable than aiming. Because again, it has blast, it has impact, and it's 2 red dice and a black dice instead of just firing 1 black dice because you're waiting for the cycle to come back around.
Yeah. Blast removing that cover.
So,
that's actually,
yeah, I mean, to me, that might be more worthwhile than an aim, to be honest. So
true. Well, but
saying.
if you want to keep moving closer,
You
boy,
don't
do
wanna
we have
just-
a weapon for you.
Yeah. You don't want to just kill them. You want to
moidalize.
moidalize them.
Yeah, speaking of 2 reds and a black, the Myrtleizer coming in is the cheapest of the 3 weapon profiles. 36 points, suppressive, and a wonderful name to boot.
Yes.
For more information
Yeah,
on the
big-
Myrtleizer, please see episode 148.5.
Exciting.
So yeah, it makes sense that the cricket bat would be suppressive.
Oh yeah, that's a large bat. Have you seen the miniatures for this unit? That's a big bat.
They were on a paint stream, and they're almost Wookiee sized. I believe they're kind of like Black Sun sized.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tall boys.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. They're these super high tech killing machines, but they've all got these like extremely low tech death options here. We've got a cricket bat. We've got a cannon pulled off of the side of a ship. Honestly, the little chain gun Gatling thing is probably the most advanced thing they got going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy they didn't call it a Z6.
It's all Z6s.
So, and of course, if you want to backload that damage a little bit more, like we were talking about earlier, you can add an extra Dark Trooper to the unit for 32 points.
Oh yeah, I mean the extra trooper. I think if you're strapped for points and you want that unit to be fully loaded, it seems like a fine idea. The 5-man unit at that point then means that they've got to work, or 6-man unit at that point if you go double heavy means they've got a lot of work to get through before they can start really damaging your actual source of hurt. And so it's going to be expensive, but I do really, 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 really like the idea of a fully loaded Dark Trooper squad, assault cannon, frag launcher, extra Dark Trooper, and program loyalty that's meant to kind of move up and deal out some hurt and then teleport into that range 2 bubble and really go ham. And just be an absolute nuisance. And like that's instead of like an ATST, you've got that squad that is zipping around the board on that 2-pip turn and just absolutely myrtleizing stuff.
And since most ATSTs are in the 180, 190 range, and that what you just proposed there is 220 points.
Yeah, so I'm talking about year 1 ATST clearly.
Yeah. It's funny after hearing that description. It kind of makes me sad. This is kind of what I wanted from a Mando unit. Just kind of zipping around, doing their thing.
Like a highly specialized, like special force unit that had all these weapon options and stuff. I could see that. Yeah. I think
but these are cool.
This is a way that like you could make like even smaller, more elite armies work. Mm-hmm. So I think it's cool that we've got this kind of development out there because I'm sure.
Yeah.
The nice thing is like I think it turns on other things, other light bulbs, light up.
Yes, there is precedence now to go back and look at and get inspired by. So
totally.
And the last upgrade, which you mentioned in passing, there, program loyalty is the programming upgrade 5 points, and I'm honestly thinking this is probably a going to be stapled to most Death Trooper cards.
Very unlike clones, apparently, this card. These guys were programmed.
This unit can only be issued orders by a commander. I mean, that's where most of your orders come from anyway.
Yep.
And then this unit gains retinue commander.
Yep. No, I think program seems great. I think if you're going to do that like YOLO squad that you plan on zipping around the board with the 2-pip, I think there is actually a world where you don't take this card, because if your plan is like, okay, turn 2 or turn 3 every game, I'm going to put this unit somewhere where my opponent has to deal with it, and that is probably not range 1 to 2 away from Moff Gideon. So I have basically been building all my Dark Trooper squads starting at 100 points because program loyalty is on there first. But I do think that if you're going to try to do that big splashy type of play with a frag launcher that requires range 2, that you might actually consider leaving this card on the table instead of equipping it to your unit, just because you're going to quickly find that restriction of range 1 to 2 might make things, it might be more of a detriment than a help, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
But it's a great card. I just, as somebody who recently had this conundrum happen to me, I was like, oh, okay, if I go single Dark Trooper, I think I might not bring this card with me because I immediately want to get this unit somewhere where it becomes problematic for my opponent. And that's usually not within that range 1 to 2 bubble of the Moff Man.
Okay. I mean, commanding presence could help with the order at least, but yeah, you would be losing out on the retinue still.
Right. And that was the biggest thing, was the losing out on the retinue. And I mean, you can be range 3, or like you said, commanding a way to give them the order, or extend your entourage, or try to extend entourage, or do funny tricks like that. But yeah, you lose out on the retinue, which that's why you pay the 5 points for the card.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm thinking 95% of the time you're putting an aim on them, because with the armor, crits are getting through anyway, so no point in putting a dodge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, guess what, guys? That's it for the first half of the show.
Oh,
Now we actually going to take a short break, and we're going to come back and talk to LJ about the real reason we asked him to come on, and that's for the LVO preview. Hey guys, Matt here to tell you about our friends over at 6UP Supply. If you're like me and don't have access to your own 3D printers, 6UP Supply has you covered with a whole suite of printing services to bring those awesome files to life. The Outriders are proud to be partnered with 6UP, and you could find special themed terrain, gear, and tokens with a big discount for Patreon members in the Outrider Central section of the website. And that's not all. You can also get terrain bases, game supplies, tools, LED kits, and more. Stuff is being added all the time. So stop by the number 6upsupply.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER to save 10% on your next order, and let them help you up your game.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. This is Matt. I got Dan here with us, and back again with us for the second half. Second half? Well, we'll see how long. Of the show is LJ, because there's a very special event coming our way, one that is near to our hearts and always near to Dan's mind.
Instead of trying to sneak it in sneakily, I mean, this is the main topic, so we have.
So, anyways, I'm going to talk over Dan right now. So, we're of course talking about the Las Vegas Open.
Yes, 12 days as of recording.
Yes.
So under 2 weeks. Oh,
I mentioned something about this in the Discord, but it's pretty cool to look at Game Uplink. If you look at like my events, it'll say like up next, and it'll put like your next event you're going to, and it will say how many days you have left until that event. And it reminds me of Dan now when I see it, because I'm like, oh, that was
Could we
Dan's
get like
thing.
a little,
living rent free in your mind. Awesome.
put his face up next to the day on that or something?
I will suggest it to Dima.
Okay,
and see
thank
what
you.
he
Yes,
says.
that would be. I would be able to pay top dollar for that.
I mean,
Top
just got
dollar.
a little
Dollar,
hard acid,
yes.
my face, and a speech bubble just right around the number, and then we're good.
Yeah.
Hey, 12 days
Yeah,
LVO,
no,
guys.
LVO is getting real close. 13 days till the main event, but 12 days until we arrive for setup and all that good stuff. So it's the time is approaching. If you're not familiar with the Las Vegas Open, it's a tournament that happens every year at the Rio. It's happened for the last couple of LVOs now, and that should be their home for the foreseeable future as well.
I mention it every episode. I'm sure if they listen to this cast, are familiar with the LVO.
No, I'm mentioning it again.
No,
That's why you
this is
brought
why
me
he's here. Yeah.
No, it's hey, I wanted to specifically mention Rio.
Oh,
Because people still think occasionally it is at Bally's.
If they missed last year, maybe
it had been hosted. If you because maybe the last time you went was when we had LVO in 2020, right before COVID, and that was at Bally's. So it wouldn't surprise me if somebody still had that in their head. But it is, yes, January 27th through 29th at the Rio. The 26th is when we will arrive and start setting up. You guys, Matt and Dan, usually take the lead on that till Emily and I arrive from
This year we're going to be Santa Claus, co-teaming Santa Claus, because we're going to have so many packages to bring of all these tables arriving.
Yeah. There's we'll get to that here in a minute. There's there's a lot to do in the next under 2 weeks, but we're getting closer. for those of you that are attending. The 26th, when we arrive, you can also pick up your wristband and confirm your attendance. And that usually opens up sometime in the afternoon, 4, 5, 6, sometime around there. There's a Warhammer preview that afternoon, so they let people in early because there's actually some little demo events too you can go to. They're expanding that first part of the convention. There used to be like nothing on Thursday, only setup, but there's been stuff happening the last couple of years, which is super cool.
Nice, and I'm sure when we
If you're
get the
playing,
exact time, I'm sure it'll go on every social out there.
oh yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about where to catch up on that information as released at the end for sure. But yeah, if you're there on Thursday and you get in probably any time before, I'd say 8, 9 p.m. at the latest, you should be able to go in and get your badge so that you don't have to do it Friday before the main event. And I do recommend that because our registration starts at 8 a.m. You've got like 45 to 50 minutes to register for Legions, so we really have not had a lot of problems with people running late or getting stuck in the registration line. Saturday is the biggest day of events, so the fact that we start on Friday also tends to help people get in and get out so they can come show up and hang out
So
with
even that
us
Thursday
in
registration
hall.
line goes all the way
Goes
from the
for a
convention
bit,
center,
yeah.
almost all the way back to the actual casino. So
Yep. I mean, better do it then than Friday morning
Yeah.
when you're all stressing out because you're going to be late. So yeah, so that's the Thursday. Friday is the main event. 128 to 150 is kind of what we're playing it on still. For the Grand Championship, you'll play 3 rounds on Friday, and then all players that are 2-1 will advance to Saturday and play 3 more rounds, getting us to a top 8 that will play 3 more rounds on a Sunday. So 9 rounds total if you're going for gold there. Sunday is a single elimination, so you'll only play all 9 rounds if you make it to the final. And then Saturday is it is technically a single elimination. That can vary if for some reason we had a lot of drops or whatever, but it for the most part you have to go 3-0 on Saturday to advance to Sunday. But we do have a lot of swag we'll be giving out that will hopefully make staying a little more exciting for the people that maybe drop that first or second game and feel like maybe they want to head out a little earlier. For the people that maybe get in a little later or you don't make it to Saturday's main event, we also have Unconventional Warfare. That was one of the AMG side formats that they came out with at a previous mini extravaganza. It almost felt like a test ground for some of the Battle Force stuff we saw, because they've got a list building restriction, or I guess the opposite of restriction. Basically, you're allowed to build your list a little bit differently. You can bring 3 heavies, or you can bring a combination of 5 commanders and operatives, I think it is. All those rules are in the packet if you're unfamiliar with and want to learn more about it. But that will keep our players that don't advance busy on Saturday, I'm sure. And they will actually be earning basically the same swag as the people that are in the main event.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to or haven't seen a previous LVO, basically the way that I like to do most of our prize support is every round we give at least one thing away. Does not matter what table you're on. It does not matter your standing or your placement. We basically give something away every round to everybody that is playing Legion in the hall, whether that be at a main event or a side event. So we've got 6 rounds of stuff planned for a Friday and Saturday. Baron of Dice did a huge order for us, and so there's 5 rounds of dice to give away. And they're all very cool, and I'm looking at them over here in my office right now. It's a giant box of dice.
Sparkle dice last year.
We got so much cool stuff last year. I'm really curious to see what we're gonna see this year.
But yeah,
6 Up Supply did a bunch of custom tokens too that are going to feature heavily in that round by round distribution model.
Nice.
And then there's more. There's so much more that's going to be thrown at you. I mean, that's what we like to do at LVO. And then that gets us to Sunday. Like I said, 3 rounds for the main event there to determine a final winner, but also everybody's favorite event every year, it seems, the doubles tournament.
Doubles.
Only a 2-rounder because it's Sunday, and people do like to try to head out early if they can to make their flights and whatnot. So we do something a little more condensed, but this year is going to be very special. Ryan Sawaski, who's hosting it for me, made special deployment and condition and battle cards for this event. So we've got custom scenarios that you're going to be using this year and fighting over with your doubles partner. That
Go
also
Ryan.
is very exciting. Yeah, he did great. This is his one of his favorite things to run, and so I am more than happy to turn over the reins to him when he wants to.
Oh
run
yeah,
it.
he does a
He
fantastic
does a
job with
great
it
job.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, the doubles is great. You play a game, there's 4 people at the same table slinging dice and having a good time. You have lunch, you come back, do it again. We try to throw more swag at you throughout the process, and then you're out of there and you had a great LVO weekend.
The doubles event was crazy last year. It was four tables to a table row, and having 4 people per table. Yeah. It was just madness.
You guys are the rowdy section. Yeah. I encourage as many people as possible to stay and play doubles. That's the thing too. If you're there for the main event and you find yourself with nothing to do on Saturday or Sunday, you should just show up to the registration desk for both of those events, and we take walk-ons pretty exclusively for this event. It's meant to be a catch-all because we want people to play Legion, and we don't really care what kind of Legion you're playing. We just want people to play and have a good time and show why this game is the best. I mean, when you walk by those double tables, or I think it was unconventional last year, and you see 4 ATSTs walking around on the table, you want to know what's going on that table, don't you, Dan?
Yeah. Well, no,
disappointment.
We played on one of your Navarro boards last time.
And that was and it was on the Navarro board.
Yeah, and there were 4 ATSDs on that table, and it was a riot.
Yeah,
but if at the end of the weekend you're not feeling overindulged in all things, swag and Legion and dice rolling, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. It's not us, it's you.
It's basically wow. You should feel absolutely overindulged.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Vegas, so it's sights, it's sounds, it's flavors, it's smells, it's colors, it is Vegas.
Expensive beer.
The beer buckets flowing. Hey, remember, buy the beer buckets. Don't buy the individual beers. The buckets are where the value town is. I'm telling you.
And you'll have extra beers for judge calls.
Absolutely. Why will we need extra beer for judge calls this year, gentlemen?
We are using the new rule book, which will be out on Monday.
Yes, that little thing called the core rules book, and in some ways there will probably be a couple of elements from the organized play document as well. Oh. But of course, the main event is the CRB is legal for LVO. Take that, 40K, your Arcs of Omen. we are using the CRB. When I was looking at the dates and things were lining up and we were having to make the call, something stuck in my mind that I won't forget. FFG used to have a thing called the 11-day rule. And in North America, if a product was released 11 days before an event, it was legal. And guess what 11 days before the 27th is, gentlemen?
The 16th.
It's the 16th. Yes. And so I took it as a sign from God himself that this was meant to be. Yeah. And I mean, here's the other thing, guys. I know you're going to talk about it on your episode on Monday, but when that choice was presented in front of us, it was like, I mean, why would we not use the new rule book? There is an effort from the developers to take the rules that have become, this awesome rule set, but that's starting to show 5 years of rust at this point, and turn it into a tighter, more complete package that also addresses things and develops things that the developers wanted to work on. Why would we not use that? Why would we not entertain that?
Why deprive ourselves?
Yeah.
LVO tends to be like the biggest event of the year. Between us and Adepticon, we hit the big events back to back. It tends to be. I'm going to be nice.
Okay. little
and I
false
get that. Like,
modesty
I
there.
get like. I get there was some apprehension because it's like, yeah, a lot of people plan on this and they've had their tickets since like June when they went on sale. Trust me, as the person that has to make this decision, I get it. But at the same time, it's like we're 150 people. That's like a drop in the bucket. The 40K, their main event has like it's anywhere from 900 to 1,400 people that are scheduled this year. It's a lot. That's a lot more people. So I get it. But at the same time, it's like, man, we're going to have this awesome opportunity to be at the cusp of this change and, show what it looks like to the world, because it's being streamed. And we talk about that in a sec. But really show what this new CRB is all about and test it and get that feedback and get that warm fuzzy that you can only get from actually getting reps in with something you're unfamiliar with. And there was no way I was going to stand in the way of that. It just did not make sense to not use the new rulebook, because I guarantee if I would have said, no, we're not going to use it, and 11 days later, everybody showed up to play on the 27th, people were going to be telling me the entire time that you should be using this document because it's great. And I know that's what it was going to be if I said no to using the CRB. So, had a talk with the head judge. We dove in head first. And you've got a great crew that's going to support you throughout the weekend because, we really tried to get a lot of people to support the event. From the staff side, from the judge side, because we know there's going to be learning curves. Not everybody's going to be an expert on the rules in 11 days. I mean, it's been 5 years and a lot of people still mess up cover, so I get it. There's a learning curve, but we will be able to handle it, because at the end of the day, when people start using the new rulebook, they're probably going to realize that, yeah, it's still Legion. Sure, a couple things have changed. It's still Legion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
This is nowhere near the change that like X-Wing went through, for example.
And most of the big stuff.
No, it is still version 2.5.
Right. No, I'm gonna assume all the big changes
was not lost on me.
Yeah, we've seen them in the articles. I mean, that's probably going to be the ground shaking stuff. So we've been probably playing under those new rules anyways and trying them out. So
yeah, even at our local nights here, people have been, and I've tried a few games too. It's been a little wonky, but mostly it's been working out.
But I mean, it's all stuff that like, and for a lot of people, that LVO weekend will be their chance to kind of get that rust out and really get a good feel for it, because there's nothing like playing, 6 to 8 games of Legion in a row. You're going to learn so much more than you thought you would after doing, if you're there the whole weekend playing Legion. And, for some people too, they're going to be able to knock a little bit of that rust off before Worlds in March.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's, I'm glad that, Cherokee and Rocky Mountain and Worlds are not the first events that are going to have to use these new rules. That were, it's us, LVO, and the weekend of the 16th is CanCon, which is one of Australia's biggest events. So they actually get to have a first stab at it. And I've been in talks with that TO to give them the support that they need to be successful.
Oh, awesome.
So, pro tip, put the rules forum link in your phone, just so you can reference it.
Sure.
If needed.
Oh yeah, it's it's on the sheet, but the next point of topic was the game uplink integration.
Yes.
And game uplink so wonderfully does the same thing that TTO does. I think actually easier and better. But if you click on the LVO Grand Champs page on Game Uplink, there is the event packet and the rules forum are the two links at the top of the page. So if you pull up the event on your phone, you can click a button and it'll take you straight to the rules forum. And the core rulebook will be up there once Monday passes for sure.
Beautiful.
Too.
And speaking of bringing it up on your phone, if you're not already registered on Game Uplink and registered for this event, please do so.
Yes, out of our 150 people we have registered for the main event, or that have bought tickets for the main event, we have 114 that are registered on
Oh,
Game
okay.
Uplink, which
Actually,
is
It's pretty
awesome.
good.
that's
Yeah.
Considering
that's
it's a new
yeah.
tournament software, and it's like, the Legion community is not necessarily used to doing this. It's not like it's been a thing we've been doing for 20 years or whatever. So like, for it's always somebody's first time, and there's always a lot of new people. And then we started using a new software. I'm actually kind of impressed on where we're at already. I think the new software is super easy to use, so that also helps a ton, because Game Uplink it's just great. As a TO who's ran a lot of big events, this software is wonderful, and I've had a great time using it so far. It's very smooth. It's got a lot of very intuitive functions. Um, the Your list is going to be due here in the near future, and one of the biggest problems with TTO was that, of course, I would have lists hidden because I don't want people to see what other people bring into the event until the day of. And once you submitted your list, you could not go back and look at the list you submitted. So the 2 weeks before LVO were constantly spent with people messaging me and asking me what they submitted. So then I would have to go onto the admin side, pull the link, and link them their own dang list that they just submitted like an hour before. And you don't have to do that on Game Uplink. It's there. It's
Hooray.
easy. It's functional. It's so nice, guys. So
It's
nice.
everything you ever wanted.
So big shout out to Keegan and the 6 Up crew, and then of course Jay and the 5th Trooper, and my friends, Nima's the front end guy for this. They really absolutely knocked this software out of the park, and we're going to be doing a bit of a stress test for them because 150 is a lot of people, and that'll be the first time an event that large will have happened on Game Uplink. So it'll be really cool to see how it handles it, but I think it'll have no problem with it. Like Dan mentioned earlier, if you already haven't registered on Game Uplink and you're coming to the event, please do so because I would love to approve you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
going to the tournament, and I've got Game
Uh-huh.
Uplink. I've got my list on there. I'm assuming I can look up my opponent's list as well.
Correct.
Okay. Will I be required to provide paper copies of my list?
Yes, you are still required to submit paper copies. There's a couple reasons for that. Um, Honestly, one of the biggest like table decorum type things that I've learned over the last 20 years now of doing tournaments and events and stuff like that for all sorts of systems. I I don't want to have to stare at my phone. I don't want to have to try to look across the table at your cards you've got laid out in front of you to see what you brought. A printed list is still super helpful.
Yeah.
And so, as a courtesy for yourself, so you don't forget what you brought, and for your opponent, we do ask that you still bring 3 printed copies of your list to all Legion events. Um, you should have one on hand for your opponent so they can have a reference during the game. You should have one for yourself so you never forget what you brought. And you should have one for the head judge who we will do list checks on Wednesday the 25th, but we will double check them and have them on hand. And it also helps we give those to the streamers if you happen to be on the stream, because then they can reference your list even quicker than having to go to Game Uplink and open the page. And look, guys, from a realistic standpoint, sometimes things go down. We might lose internet capability. We might lose game uplink. There might be some serious error we never thought of. We will still have all your lists if you turn in paper lists when you check it. So yes, still something we require. I know that Game Uplink does a lot of the heavy lifting now. We're asking you to bring less copies than we used to bring. I would always recommend you bring a copy for each round, and for yourself and for the head judge. So I used to ask people to bring 5 copies. So we're saving a whole 2 trees there by asking for 3. Because it was 1 tree per paper naturally.
Apparently,
Yes.
wow, that seems wildly inefficient.
It was
but
it was big paper. I didn't specify the size.
And
But yeah,
minor point
so
of clarification:
we do still ask that. Go ahead.
the copy for the judge should have your command hand and objective cards on it.
and your name
Your battle
on
deck.
it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and your name. Gosh, I can't tell you how many times we have that problem. Please print your list before you get on your airplane, car ride, boat ride, however the heck you get to Vegas. And don't forget to put your name on it. I say print because of course there's people like Davis Kingsley who have beautiful really small 6-point font or smaller writing, and it makes it really hard to read your list. So yes, please print that out, and please include your important things such as battle cards, command hand, stuff like that.
Okay, LJ, that's all good. But what if I'm not able to make it out to LVO? Is there some way I can get in on the fun if I know you're not going to be tweeting it?
I will not be tweeting it. Thank you for asking. I know that we will be putting out information as it comes up on the LVO channel on the Legion Discord and our LTC Facebook group. But if you want that hard-hitting live journalism that will tell you everything you need to know about this new chapter in the Star Wars Legion world at the biggest in-person event we've ever had, Yavin Base is once again covering the event. David has agreed to come on down and stream. He's going to stream tables from the main event. I believe it's just going to be the one table again that worked out really well last time. We've done 2 tables before, but I believe it's just going to be the one unless something has changed, which we'll see. But him and Jay Solansky from the 5th Trooper are both going to be here covering the event. So if you'd like to tune in and see how things are going, then please follow Yavin Base on their socials, Twitch, YouTube, etc. Throughout the weekend. I know David's been trying really hard to increase his Twitter presence. He's also got a Discord, so there's lots of ways to support him. All I ask is please support your streamer. Drop a like, say hi, interact in chat for a little bit. Every little thing we do helps David. It's a personal expense for him to come do it. Nobody buys his flight. There are other things that cover it. So it's not like he does it completely out of pocket, but it's a lot.
There you go.
Could
Splash some bits out there.
Yeah, I mean he could be a player that weekend, mucking it up and throwing dice with everybody else, but he's chosen instead to talk for 12 hours a day or more for 3 days in a row, and we highly appreciate it. It's awesome we were able to get it to work this year, and I believe Frontline Gaming is actually adding him as an affiliate because he streamed so many of their events now. And they're going to have a big old LVO media page.
Ooh.
I don't have a link for it yet, but hopefully we can get it here soon. And there's going to be a Las Vegas open media page where all of the streams that are happening covering LVO events are going to be embedded in that page.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
Hopefully other people that are interested in Legion will be able to tune in and watch and see how things are going.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. They did a fantastic job last year. Getting to watch them. It's quite an extensive setup. It's pretty amazing.
Like there was a mini broadcast studio they had running there.
It's crazy. But there's more to conventions than playing games. Of course, there's going to be the social aspect of getting to hang out with our friends. Do we have anything planned for that?
Oh yeah, the Friday night returns the social, where we pick a place and go take it over and hang out for a couple hours. Last year we had a wonderful event at the Hofbrau House, just around the corner from the Rio. It was about 15-minute drive or so.
Yeah, it's not that
terribly far.
Yeah.
Yeah, great German place, giant beers, good food, and then everything is like the Oktoberfest kind of style, open seating. So there's long benches and tables where people sit, together instead of in their little groups, and we all just kind of get together as a big group and have a great time. Last year we had, I think it was 92 that played in the main event. And we had over 50 people that showed up for the social event. So over half the field was there mucking it up. Yeah, it's a great time. Like I said, the beer's great, the food's great. You just show up, you find our group. We're hard to miss, and hang out, and then you have a good time. So that'll be.
I hope they'll be prepared for a group that big to come in.
Oh yeah, we we talked to them about it last time, and they knew it was coming. And this time, now that we kind of know what this caliber of event looks like, we're gonna take some extra precautions to make sure they are prepared for us, because you can't quite reserve space for that many people there, but they will fit that many people there. So we just kind of,
They've got
make it
the
work.
back beer garden area. If it's not open, they'll
Yes.
open it up. So that's pretty nice.
And that back area was our home. It was awesome. And special shout out to Zane's wife and my wife Emily. They were both little ringleaders of both of our tables to make sure that everybody got their drinks and food, and waitresses were paid, and
Aw.
dues were taken care of. So the supporting cast also helped make that a very successful event last year, which of course I super appreciated, because by that point in the day I was ready to just drink Jaeger and not think about anything else.
I think we still got some
So-
pictures of that. So
Speaking
God,
of
there's a video floating around that I won't talk about. It was
Dan, can we get that on the
good buddy,
Facebook again?
yeah.
my good buddy John Griffin definitely took advantage of the situation. That's for sure. No, that's
Okay.
it's a great little social event. A Thursday night, people are getting into town, so you usually meet up with like your friends and your local groups or whoever, and there's a lot of little scattered things that happen. Saturday night, last time I went to Penn and Teller, who are actually hosted in the Rio, so it was very easy to get to our show after Saturday's events. And then there was a ton of other scattered things. I actually ended up going out after Penn and Teller, and we went to this awesome little video arcade bar type place. It was like $5 to enter, and they had a ton of different arcade games, and you were sitting at the bar, and you sat down at the bar, there was a TV in front of you, they handed you a controller, and you played games. It was so cool. So it's Vegas, there's places to go.
There's
and things to
always
do.
some place to
Sleep
go.
is for the weak.
Yep.
Man, I'm all weeked out then because I love sleep. But anyways.
So speaking of supporting cast, I actually didn't put this in the notes here, but we of course know Matt and Emily will be staffing.
I'm sure there's going to
Yes,
be more than a
there's,
few.
there is a large number of people this time because the event is growing. I of course put it on, and then our head judge is Nima. You
Yay.
might have known him online. I've talked about it a couple times. He helps with Invader League. He's head judged LVO before. We also have Phil Unricht, who is helping us, Robert Jarling, Graham Hamner, Stephen Cobb, Ryan Sawaski, and then we already mentioned Jay Shalansky and David Zelenka. Oh, and we can't forget Brad. Brad is also helping as a judge this time around. So we have a lot of people that come to put the event
crew.
together. And yeah, I couldn't do it without the supporting cast. There's a lot that they do to help keep the event running.
Cool.
It's not all just handing out swag.
Standby list?
So if you are interested in attending the event, the time to get a ticket transfer approved was Thursday the 12th. So that window has now officially passed. However, if you already know you're going to LVO, maybe you're doing a Saturday event or a Sunday event, and you still want to take a stab and try to get at the main event, the best thing to do is to get in contact with myself, and I can keep tabs on you. And if there's somebody that tells me they are not coming, I will just put you in their seat. We will not be able to transfer the ticket to you, but look, guys, somebody's paid for the seat. I'm not going to double charge you if nobody's going to use that seat because they very clearly indicated they can't make it. Something came up, or it was June, they forgot they bought a ticket. So if you're interested in going, maybe if you're, especially for the locals or the people that are with driving distance where it's a little bit more manageable, or even if you're, like I said, you're already going to LVO and you have nothing to do on Friday or even Saturday or Sunday's events, just show up. And we always have seats that go unused. The first LVO, it was 2 seats. The LVO after that, it was 20 seats. The last one, it was 28 seats because freaking Omicron hit and killed us right before the event started. There are options to play if you are going to be there or want to be there and want to play. The best thing you can do is communicate that to me, the tournament organizer, and we will take care of you. Because like I said, There are always
Awesome.
seats that go unused. And if somebody's paid for that seat, I'm going to use it. So show up.
For sure. Well, that's awesome, man. This is shaping up to be an amazing event. Dan, any last second
Forgot
thoughts?
to mention the paint competition.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, the paint competition. I did want to mention it because we do rotating categories every year. There is a paint competition. It is on Friday, and entries are submitted during lunch. So you do have to be in attendance on Friday to be considered for the paint competition. Basically, what we do is we have a full army submission, so around 800 points. Don't take your 400-point bid that day. That's not going to help. A unit competition. So the exact numbers are in the packet, but it's like 4 to 6 miniatures or something like that, and then a single small base miniature. Those are the 3 categories this year: small base, unit, and army. You can only put miniatures into one of the categories. You cannot double dip this time, and you do not have to use those miniatures in the event to use it in the painting competition. I'm not going to keep track of that. That's just so no. It's we tried to make it a little more open this time around, so people could bring that one miniature they really, really, really love. Maybe they didn't want to put it in their army this time, and we thought that'd be a cool thing to celebrate. So there are trophies for those 3 categories, and there's also the TO's Choice, which is my special award that I like to do every year. TO's Choice is usually someone, or last year it was a painting submission that did not win first place, but that blew me away, and I was like, yep, this person deserves an award, and we threw an award at them. There's also awards for best commander of each faction, and we did Shadow Collective this year because this is the first LVO with Shadow Collective, so there's 5 trophies for that. And then there's also 2 Spirit Awards, and how to earn the Spirit Awards has not been announced, on purpose, because we'd rather the Spirit Awards be earned on some type of merit than some sort of measurable category that we put out there beforehand. So 6 Up Supply is doing 11 trophies for us this year. They are fantastic. If you haven't seen me drop pictures of those yet, make your way to our socials so you can check those out. But that is actually something they're adding to their tournament support suite of stuff. So if you want to buy yourself trophies for your events, 6 Up Supply, as always, has you covered.
Well, thank you again, LJ, for joining us today. Really looking forward to it. It's around the corner. Dan, are you all ready?
I'm still got units to paint because
of course you do.
I got bikes on bikes.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to reach out, what's the best way to reach out?
If anybody wants to reach out, they should go ahead and check out the Las Vegas Open channel on the Legion Discord. That's the big one, the one we just hit 10,000 this last December. That's the one you're looking for. There's an LVO channel where you can interact with your staff and crew and whatnot, and I will be happy to take care of your questions there. We also have a Gmail that we use for everything, LVO Legion Event at gmail.com. You can reach out to us there directly, and we can help you with your questions. And then, of course, there is the Frontline Gaming Legion, Star Wars Legion Facebook group. That's where we post updates for all of the Frontline Gaming events that Legion is represented at, and you can direct message that page as well to get those questions answered. There's still a lot to do. If you happen to be there on Thursday, we do appreciate the extra hands to help us set up the tables and the table numbers and mats and all that stuff. Always super helpful. And oh yes, the table numbers. We've talked about it before, and I've shared some pictures. But these gentlemen here in the Vegas area did us a awesome favor. We have 100 table number holders that look like moisture vaporators, and they are so cool, and they're going to be such a huge help because as the TO, you forget about the table numbers every time, and I would have to go to Office Depot and print off like 60 of these, and it was always such a waste of like ink and money. They'd look great, but then you don't do anything with them when the event's over. Now we've got something that travels to every event that's relatively neutral. Awesome. Anyway,
beautiful.
The other thing I want to put out is if you have a table that you want to travel all over the country and support events throughout the the circuit, as well as Worlds. The frontline inventory should be traveling to Worlds this year. If you have a table that you would like to contribute that goes around the country, please reach out to me. We have 65 tables in that inventory by the time we get to LVO, which is awesome, but we want events to be bigger and we want to be able to support more. So the more we get, the better. And if you also are interested in contributing something last minute in the Department of Prize Support, please reach out because we would be happy to do that.
So if they have a table,
they should reach out because we would love to be able to use that at multiple events throughout the year. I know people have collections they don't always get the full use out of, and we really do want you to have that travel and go all over the place and be useful to all these different TOs. As well as if you're somebody that has some sort of prize support that you'd be interested in contributing, not all prize support has to come in multiples of 150. There are some things that we will give away because we think somebody's army is really cool, or they came in last place, or they, were one of the top 8. Maybe something really special you want to give to the people that make it to Sunday. Please, if you have something you want to do to support, reach out. It's the biggest event of the year. We've got so much going on, so much media around it. We'd love to showcase whatever you're interested in, just as much as, we like to support the players that come and show up at these events.
The award for handing me a beer at a critical moment.
Whew, I can tell you, John is a winner of that award several years running. He always knows when I need a beer because like a contentious judge call or something has happened. He has picked his moment well several times in a row. And there have been a couple people that have been like, hey, I owe you that beer when I see it LVO. And whew, man, after the last 6 months or so, I'm ready to collect, let me tell you.
Cashing in those chips.
Well, I'm sure you'll be ready to collect extra after Monday as well. So.
Oh, yeah. You bet, guys. You bet.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And if you have any news, questions, or feedback, you can email us at legionoutriders@gmail.com. Stop by our Facebook page where Dan will be memeing around. Facebook.com/Legion Outriders, or you can find us out in the world. Dan, where can they find you?
Out on the Discord as either Outrider Dan or DanTech, and also hanging out in your Twitch streams.
Thanks, which you can find at twitch.tv/Captain_Archer. LJ is everywhere. He is ubiquitous, so you can't not find this man via the numerous things he enumerated earlier.
Surround you, I bind you. I'm not going to continue that quote because that would get awkward.
Oh,
yeah, no penetrating, please. But
you can find me everywhere as TalkPolite. I actually do not admin the Legion Facebook group anymore. I did it for a year, and we came in and did what we needed to do, and it's been passed on fully to the team that helped me run it when I was given that group. But I can't. I am still there. I interact on people's posts. I answer rule questions, and of course the Legion Discord and several other side Discords. I'm on as TalkPolite. So, I take your messages, reach out, love to talk to people, love to hear what's going good in your corner of the universe. And always got to mention it every time. If you're a tournament organizer, especially in this new OP document world we're about to move into, new rulebook world here soon. We do have a TO server that is specifically for tournament organizers. And if you want an invite to that, find me on the Legion Discord and reach out, and we'll get you invited there as well. It's got a ton of resources for running tournaments, and we can put you in contact with people that can give you terrain and prizes and all sorts of other support.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Bud. And we will catch you next time at LVO. See you later, guys.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.
I lost you. It kicked you out for once.